Finding the right gift during the holidays can always be a struggle, especially if you want it to be useful throughout the year. And what's a gift that keeps on giving? Stocks. Gifting stocks can help your family and friends, especially kids who may benefit most from long term compounding returns. Stocks can grow or decline in value, and it's important to know how the market could respond to them and what you need to know if you're given stock as a gift. I'm joined now by Brendan Caldwell, director of Caldwell Securities Limited, to discuss gifting stocks this holiday season. Brendan, thank you for joining me today.
Teresa, great to be here.
Now, what are gifted stocks and how do they work?
Oh, well, there's a few ways you can do it. One can do it. Years and years ago, when my kids were little and still thought I was great, I gave them each 10 shares of Disney and got a physical certificate framed. Those are a bit of a rarity now. Most stocks are just held electronically, virtually, what have you, in investment accounts. But one can still get a physical certificate in some cases. And of course, with Disney, it's a fun certificate. It has all the characters on it, and they own a little bit of the Disney Corporation. So, and they've been getting dividends, well, on and off, because Disney actually stopped paying dividends for a few years around the whole pandemic-y thing when the parks were closed. But I think I paid maybe I don't know, $10 a share roughly, and I think it's gone up about 10 times. I probably should have bought them each 100 shares. So that's one way you can do it. So they have a physical manifestation. Um, the point of doing that, though, point of buying shares for kids, perhaps is more to get them engaged in the investment process. It's the difference between giving a fish and teaching to fish. And so, what a number of my clients do is where there's trust money or gift money for kids, they will set up an in trust account. And I'll actually talk to the young people about what they'd like to buy there. And what's interesting about younger people is they just know stuff I don't. They know what's cool. You would think because of this Christmas tie, I would know what's cool, but apparently I don't. So it actually gets them engaged in the process um, by saying, "Hey, what about this or what about that?"
And how would you go about gifting a stock?
Well, again, there's probably two ways to attack it. One is the physical certificate that probably at this point won't be ready in time for Christmas if you buy some shares of Disney today. But the idea of setting up an account is a good one. So grandfather in trust for grandchild, grandmother or what have you, or parents in trust for children. And then the parents can make some suggestions, or the advisors can make some suggestions, but a lot of the best suggestions come from the young people themselves. I'm thinking about one, a daughter of a friend of mine. In her account, we bought. She lives in Mexico City, and we bought some Grupo Bimbo, which you wouldn't have thought, but it's like the fastest food growing chain food supply company. Very cool and in Mexico, and she's done very, very well on it. Others, there was an anime company that was invested in, maybe didn't do as well, but the process is the benefit, getting them engaged in the process.
Now, how does gifting stock benefit foundations and charities?
Oh, just quickly on that, another thing one can do, particularly in a year like this, where there's been a lot of capital gains, so all the tech stocks in particular have run up. What one can do is actually donate stock in kind, that is, as shares, to your favorite charity, and we accept for scores, maybe hundreds of charities, in-kind donations. And the benefit for the donor is that if there's a big capital gain, they get the tax receipt for the full face amount. So if you make $100,000 donation, you get a $100,000 tax receipt. But if 90,000 of that's capital gains, you don't pay a thing. Particularly if, and it looks a little less likely maybe today than it did, if this increased capital gains rate inclusion goes through, that's even going to be a bigger benefit. So if you want to benefit a charity, make an in-kind donation of stocks on which you have a big gain.
And we do just have under a minute, but what are the benefits for the investor who is gifting the stock?
Oh, well, yeah, again, I think the benefits are mostly tax, as well as perhaps finding a relatively inexpensive way of getting themselves into heaven. So if your church, your synagogue, your favorite foundation, the hospital for sick kids, um, wants money, you can make this donation without having to write a check and get all the benefits of the face value of the donation. So we've got accounts set up for a number of charities, and we just sell the donations without charging any commission or anything on it because I got to get into heaven too.
Brennan, thank you so much for the time today.
Thank you, Teresa. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well. All right, stay with us. We'll have more news headlines right after the break.